Welcome to the explanation of team number 6.
My teammates believe that today's Mexico continues to be corrupt and incompetent, referring to the government, since everything generated by the people is stole and misused, since it does not invest correctly in education or in the health sector, nor in many other essential aspects for community. We also think that overpopulation is becoming more noticeable, as well as the poor and the rich people and the domination of cartel and drugs traffickers. But not everything is that bad, since we also think that many jobs have been generated and we have a lot of the biodiversity and with it a lot of tourism.
The main challenge of Mexico, economy. Although global economic growth continues apace, poverty, environmental degradation, political inability, and violence remain major challenges. Education. Although Mexico has achieved access to basic education, there are still 4 million children and adolescents who are outside the educational process. Indigenous children, particularly in communities with very high levels of marginalizations, face difficulties in terms of accessibility and learning. Health. COVID-19 has exposed the shortcomings of the public health systems and the accessibility and inequity of medical service. Generation a strong social welfare crisis, mainly in communities with less rich and with healthy vulnerable populations due to their lack of accessibility to service, basic health and sanitation service. Security. Mexico has recorded the two most violent years in history. In the first part of the government of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, with 34,000 murder victims in 2019 and 34,000 in 2020. The country accumulated between January and August a total 22,000 intentional homicides.
Their point of view what must we done in order to face choose challenge so Ayotzinapa and any other tragedy happens never again. Maybe security has to be improved a little more in place where there is not much population. They are the most dangerous and favorite place in those areas. I do not blame anyway if they are traveling or anything. How simple ask for information where they are are going to uh, or if they are students so that the same does not happen.
What do we think about the political actuality of Mexico? Well, I think there's a crash between the government and the people, the town of the country, because the town, the people of the country demands justice, demands transparency, and in my opinion, these are the two main problems that they're not that the government doesn't give their 100% at giving this to the people, and that's why I think there's the crash because while not receiving the transparency or honesty that the government promises, the country takes decisions to gather all and make something against the country, like for example, the feminists, the marches and all that they leave their mark. And I think the cause of this is because people want to be listened, and want to express what they want, and instead of the government being in a defensive position, they should listen and try to build up together a better place to live.
We think that the current Mexico is the best Mexico ever, but it still has many problems to solve, such as problems with drug trafficking, which have claimed the lives of 350,000 people and 72,000 disappeared from 2006 to 2021, or problems with the economy, since we depend on what the dollar and therefore the United States say. Other problem in Mexico is its corruption, since this cannot be measured in figures, but we have an example that it does cost lives, and the example is Ayotzinapa, in which, due to the incompetence of the authorities, it was not investigated, nor were the aggressors persecuted. A rather alarming situation, but nothing impossible to solve.